BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
This is the Danny Britt Show one more time here in 2025 from BowTie Barbecue, recapping an unbelievable 2025 season, taking a look back at the heartbreaking loss there in the state championship, and joined by Coach Britt as we are every Thursday at noon. And Coach, it was a spectacle to say the least. Really a highly anticipated football game around the state, a ton of outstanding players, and then you're in what Kevin and I kind of call the Mecca, I think, of football in America there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And you've had some time to reflect on the game now, 42-39, as Coach Reich, I think, put it after the game very aptly. You guys didn't lose, you just ran out of time in that football game. But now that you've had a couple days, sit back and reflect, just what are your thoughts from Monday night?
Yeah, just, in that game individually, I mean, we had every opportunity to win, and we could have. Creekside is a very good football team. They, earned the win. We forced them to earn it. And I feel like, I watched the game last night on the recording and saw that if we get that onside kick, I feel like we score and win the game. Right. I really do. I mean, and I think everybody kind of would agree with that. That's just the way the game went. And so, therefore, we kind of just ran out of time. And that's okay. Stephanie's like, everybody's checking on you. I'm like, I'm fine, man. If we'd have gone and not performed or, caught attitudes when we went down and all that, now that would concern me. That would be like, what did I do wrong? Where did we go wrong on this? How can we correct this? The way the kids fought, the way the kids stayed together, the way the coaches stayed together, everybody just kept fighting, kept working. It's a game, man. That's what you do. And I'm still super proud of the team, of the season, of the coaches, everybody involved.
And I think you put it very aptly there. There's only one team that gets to finish the season with a win. There's a whole bunch of other teams that finish their season with a loss. Right. So obviously, congratulations to Creekside. What they're able to do this season was unbelievable. But I think the way you put it with how your team presented themselves from a fan side, watching the football game and calling it with Kevin, there's a drill they do in the military and law enforcement, and it's called Fight for Your Life. And they put these law enforcement guys and girls into this room, and they make them do a bunch of exercises, get their heart rate jacked up, have music playing, strobe lights going, basically everything to get your senses going crazy. Then they send guys in to beat the crap out of them.
Oh, my God.
And they're trying to see how you react. And a lot of people freeze and just kind of curl up like a bug on the ground. Some people fight, throw their hands around. But the hitters, the ones that you want with you in your foxhole, execute. They are getting beat up, but they do what they're supposed to do in that situation. And you go down 21-3, and nobody blinked. And I thought that was the thing that spoke the most volume about your team.
Definitely. Sounds like you got some inside knowledge.
A little bit.
On that, a little military training there.
A little bit.
But anyway, I think that is very well put. And that is exactly what happened. You're going to be punched in the mouth, and we were punched, baby. It was 21-3. And honestly, after the game, and I'm kind of getting off track here, but after the game right there, I didn't remember feeling like we were down 21-3.
Right.
That may sound crazy. And I watched it, just sitting on my couch. It's a whole different experience last night. And I was like, gosh, I just didn't feel like it was that big of a gap.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully I'm guessing the rest of the team didn't either, because you're right. There's two ways you can ball up and curl up and it's over and start crying and all that, which I never thought our guys would do. Or you can just fight, but fight inappropriately.
Yeah.
Or like you just said, you can execute and go out and execute harder. That is what you want your team doing, and that's what our team did, is just continued to fight and then executed better than they had before.
Right.
Therefore, fought back to take a lead, actually.
And again, I don't want to take anything away from Creekside, but just listening to pundits around the state leading up to that game, you guys weren't even supposed to be in the football game by about midway through the third quarter, supposed to lose by 50 and take the second place trophy and say thank you. But you guys came out and were leading there at halftime. And again, I think it speaks
I never bought into that.
No, I just, and it's just,
that
yeah.
was, they were a very good team. And
yeah.
I've said it over and over again, never, talking to the kids, never, did we say they weren't a good team.
Right.
We knew they could beat us. But beating us like that, I never felt like that was going to happen.
Well, no, and it's just, I think you got to know ball at some point. It's just, you look at your guys' offense and your guys' defense. I don't know if there's anybody really running you off the field like that now with the way they developed throughout the year. But again, able to come out, fight, and claw and punch your way back. And I think it speaks to the playmakers that you guys have had all year kind of answering that call right there. And I was sitting in the booth talking to a couple of people from 680, and I said, because they were calling the game, and I was like, you want to sound really smart? Say, watch out for number 13. And it turned out that on the biggest stage of his career, Aaron Mallard had just an unbelievably huge game. Yeah,
no doubt. And he's had an incredible year. And obviously, yes, had a big game the other night. Just he's a player, he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
I talked to him last week and said, you will be getting offers. They're coming.
I don't know how you watch that game and you don't.
I think everybody will. Now, I mean, he didn't get as much PT last year. We were set up, the skill. He was considerably smaller last year.
Right.
He's really grown and developed. And, now from what you've seen, I mean, you don't just have explosive guys like that who can also have great ball skills, who are also physically strong with great balance. He's just a different level.
And Stanley Smart as well, stepping up in that one. Kind of asked to do some different things. Really kind of became a security valve and a extra blocker for you guys, because the reality was they were sending 6 to 7 guys at a time, and even if they were just sending 4, those guys were winning one-on-ones a lot of the time just because of how skilled that group was. And I thought he played a really strong game. It wasn't a bunch of rushing yards for him, but just sticking his nose in there on some key pass blocks and catching a really big touchdown.
Yeah, Stan did a great job, and that's where he's really developed. He has developed so much in every other aspect other than just running the football.
Yeah.
Last year at the beginning of the year, we were not interested in throwing him the ball. It wasn't, really smooth and catching it and route running and that sort of thing. He has developed that very well.
Right.
I mean, and it's not even a fault anymore. It's like, he's another receiver. His blocking has, gotten better and better. And I mean, he's always had the mentality. He loves to block. He loves to hit. I mean, that wasn't the issue. It's just, you understand you have to develop those techniques, and that balance is different than running the ball.
Sure.
You can't just go, you have to at some point come a little bit defensive when you're blocking people, because you have to be able to move with them and be fluid when you're running the ball. You're deciding where it's going. So anyway, he's developed and really been developed into a very good football player.
And a guy on the defensive side of the football, another underclassman for you guys, Jonathan Black, had 2 interceptions in that football game. And I think a lot of that is the athleticism he has and the speed, but a lot of it just comes down to he's gotten a lot better at his technique because he was in the right spot when he needed to be.
He definitely has gotten better. Philip and I were talking, Coach Moore and I were talking about John after the game. We stayed up till about 4 a.m. in the lobby, drowning our sorrows. But, we were just talking about him and how his development. He's ridiculously athletic, but he's coachable, and he's taking the coaching, and he's going to be a major Division I cornerback for sure.
I wanted to talk about those guys because now I want to talk about the senior class who played their final football game for you guys. And I think that, just speaking to some of the coaches and some of the people around the program, losing these guys, and it's something you knew was going to happen. It's the nature of coaching high school football, but it's having this class graduate. However the last game ended, I think maybe hurts a little bit more than how that last game ended, just because it's such a special group. And we got one was right there, Stephen Cannon. We talked about how he's kind of grown through the year, and then he kind of just evolved into the guy everybody knew he could become. And we saw it really in the Marist game, where he just had guys kind of falling off of him, and he was able to keep that contact balance and score touchdowns. That touchdown run he had for you guys in the state championship game, that's next level stuff from your quarterback. But again, the biggest stages, it seems like he kind of grows to fill them.
He definitely did, and continued to. He got better, which is a great sign for Texas Tech. He got better in the bigger moments. The bigger the moment, the better he played, and that's especially important with the again, he still hadn't played a whole lot of quarterback because he got injured his junior year and just kind of lost that on, half the year. So he by watching that, I mean, his best football is way ahead of him.
Sure.
But he got better as the lights got brighter. When we started really kind of cutting him loose, when Coach Phillips really started calling plays for him to run, he got better because he's a competitor and likes that and is very athletic and talented doing that. So, yeah, very proud and I'm just super excited to watch how he continues to progress at the quarterback spot. Again, I wish he could have gotten more. More reps with us, but just missing that half a season because of his injury.
And I know Bubba Frazier, another guy who he was one from like 6th, 7th grade. You were like, all right, you got to watch out for this dude. And he's lived up to every expectation. And I thought it was really fun getting to watch him out there in Mercedes-Benz because he's been a little bit hampered throughout the postseason and still outrunning people, but like slowed down. Felt like there was a few times where he turned it on to where it was him running 100%. And that's special to watch and been a special player for you, and I think more so mentally than physically, and that's saying something.
Yeah, Bubba's been an incredible player for us. For 3 years, he played a little bit of special teams his freshman year, but if you remember, he was considerably smaller at that time, and in talking to him, it waited for him to develop, but since his first game of his sophomore year, he's been a stud, and just really a great football player, unbelievably athletic, worked really hard on being the best receiver he could be, but he's a great teammate, and just really has worked hard, been there, done what he's supposed to do. I don't remember ever having to like get on to him for being silly or not doing what he is supposed to do, or at least trying to do what he's supposed to do. So super proud of him and how he developed. I wish, he spent the first couple of weeks in the playoffs beat up, but continue to work hard and be a good leader for us then as well.
I think if you've met his parents, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You meet. I met his grandfather, his dad's father, and I become friends with Bubba's dad, Chris, and met his grandfather, and I'm like, yep, there you go.
This makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Just you talk to him, you're like, okay, now I see why Bubba is such a good young man, and you meet them and how they hold themselves and what they expect out of him and their kids, and it's pretty impressive.
And the third guy, kind of that senior trio, there's Josh Washington, and a guy who came in from his freshman year, had a lot of expectations on him. And I think this year, maybe more so than others, he was asked to do a lot more. But I don't know that there's anybody with all these great athletes going to all these other great schools that has a nose for doing what you need done on that play. If it's 2nd and 2 and you're trying to take a shot or you're trying to throw a bubble screen, he could break it for a touchdown. But if it's 3rd and 2, he's going to get 3 yards and you're going to get a first down.
There you go. And that is Josh. And he's by far, out of all the group, he's the best wing tee buck sweep runner we've got. He's just really good at that. He's a good receiver. He's a good, he's really good safety.
Yeah.
Which we stole him for one game against Colquitt County to play. But he is a very good football player. Been a great leader for us. Has worked hard. I'm so glad he came to us, and it's just been a blessing to be around. I talked to him, and we got to get him some opportunities. I feel like we will. January's going to be big for Josh, and get him somewhere to go continue his football career.
I was going to say, if you're an FCS school, that's your running back slot receiver for the next 4 years.
I would think so. And I mean, and again, we go back and put the Colquitt County film on, and show him playing safety too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good at that. He has a great mind for football.
And again, a bunch of seniors on that offensive side of the ball. Some seniors you're losing on the offensive line as well. And I thought you talked about kind of getting punched in the mouth a little bit there in the first quarter. I thought they settled in as the game went. And again, it was warfare. It was nasty in the line of scrimmage. But I thought those guys, and led by the senior group, really stepped up as the game went.
It did. And I thought, Carlton Hall is the senior on that offensive line. And we talked about his story and how he's worked so hard to get back, and so proud of him. And he played really hard all year, played really well all year. the other night was really hard. That was a very fast front. And
they threw a lot at you.
Had some good size, but
and
that's what you remember. You asked me like what makes them so good. They attack, and that's what they do. Just keep attacking. You may hit, we hit a few passes behind them because they just line up and play man, but they just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and it made it really hard. And once we settled in, we started playing good physical football and settled in pretty well.
Again, going to miss him, but excited he gets to go play Liberty at the next level and then flipping it over defensive side. I don't know that there was anyone more disappointed after the game than Cam Cody. I mean, he's always just a huge smile, and I don't know if I've ever seen him quite that downtrodden. It's we've all been through it. All of a sudden it's over.
Right.
And one chapter of your life is closed, and obviously he's got a really exciting chapter next, but that dude, I think, goes in the pantheon of all-time BC greats.
Oh, no doubt. Unbelievable defensive lineman, just played so hard. He's a great kid, and played so hard for us this year. Just really dominated, from that front. I mean, LaDainian would get a lot of conversation, all the time. But you watch Cam Cody. He's a dude, and he really played well and played hard. We're going to miss him tremendously.
You mentioned LaDainian Guyton. I thought, and we talked about it a little bit before the game, just the way Creekside plays. I was like, this is a chance for him to really impact. And I thought, we talked about Steven on the biggest stage. I thought LaDainian maybe had his best game.
He did. I think he did, definitely. And you're right. I can promise you the quarterback,
brother,
he does not want to see LaDainian again. And but of course, he's tough. That quarterback's tough.
I don't know how he didn't fumble a few times.
I mean, he's a good football player. But he does not want to see that cat again. I promise you that.
And some big sacks right there, and you kind of saw what happens where you get in 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 10, and he knows you're passing the football. That's a dangerous proposition,
no doubt.
And then he obviously had a massive game, and then you lose 2 senior inside linebackers there that I don't know if anybody cares more about the program than Mr. Little and Mr. Houston.
Yeah, no doubt. It was I hated it for them. They, being disappointed. They played so hard this year and just really had a tremendous year, and it was a blessing having them in there. It's, field generals, and Larson is probably more of the vocal, make sure everybody's lined up and that sort of thing. Where then Jaden kind of became the emotional leader of making plays, and he's a hitter. He'll strike you. Obviously, y'all know that, and going to miss those guys tremendously, both as players and just people, just being around them. And, of course, I'm sure I'll see Jaden probably a little bit more just because, Dad's going to be around. So I'm sure he'll be coming around plenty too. But going to miss those guys as football players for sure.
And then maybe we're just kind of talking like you do and looking at next season. Maybe the toughest group to replace next year is going to be the secondary, just because it feels like for the past 3 years now, you've had some known commodities back there, and Mekhi Williams and Wyatt Estabrook, and then JoJo Sutton, I think, really stepped up this year for you. And 3 guys that, alongside Jonathan Black and Amari Burse, I thought really one of the best secondary units in the state. Yeah,
definitely. We had a good group. Much a blessing. Mekhi, I'm going to miss him desperately. He started some his freshman year, but played a lot. He would roll in and,
when Luke had to go play quarterback, you're like, Mekhi.
Yeah, exactly. And so he would go do that and played a lot his freshman year, and then it's just been a mainstay for us and a very good football player, obviously, and going to miss him and his presence. And, of course, Wyatt has just had a great career. Wyatt is, sneakily athletic and has just really had a good career for us. And I've had a lot of fun coaching him because he's just a personality you can cut up with, and it does not bother him. It just goes right, just washes right off of him. And he's had. I never would have thought he'd been as physical as he is. I mean, I knew he was athletic since when he was in middle school.
Yeah,
but he became a very physical football player, and he could roll down and play a inside the box type safety as well. And just going to miss those guys. It's going to be very hard to replace. And then JoJo, so glad that we were able to finish it out together. I hate that he kept having those hip injuries, but he had a good year for us and fought through some adversity to get to where we're at, and very proud of him and look forward to his future.
Yeah, for Wyatt, just going to say it to Wyatt, you're not always going to be 160 pounds. I promise. Eventually, you start packing meat on. As the kid who graduated high school at 170 pounds, it's going to happen. I promise. But when he puts 20 pounds on, he's going to be dangerous.
He could be. And we got to look at him too, because he would like to play college ball. He's also very, very smart.
I was going to say he's a college football player.
Oh, he's definitely a college football player. Yeah. It's just he's going to get some opportunities. It's whether he wants to take that or whether he says, you know what, I'll go on and go to University of Georgia. And
it's the Wilkes Albert paradox,
right? Like there's somewhere he can go play. Yeah. He has to decide. It's not going to be Athens. Right. It's not going to be that. So, do you want to go play at a smaller school somewhere? And still get a very good education, or do you okay, never mind, I'm gonna just go to University of Georgia and and be start my next phase of life, which is fine too. I want to offer him some options. Is my thought on that.
Now, I will say, soft spot in my heart for safeties. I know you got one too. They stepped up into some alleyways in the state championship game, and they're outweighed by 30, 40 pounds a few times. Yeah. I didn't see those dudes blink. They just stuck their nose in there, and they got plowed over a few times, but no fear.
No, they did. They've done that all year. They've done that their whole careers. Just come up and face it. And that number one for them was 200-pound tailback or running back. Nobody has a tailback anymore. But and they're never blinking. They've done that their whole career.
Listen, I'll still say B-back, flanker.
I know, right?
We're not going to let that die. But again,
it'll come back around. Here's the thing. Here's what I know. I'll say that. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Coaches will be talking about something, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then they'll just use it's just new verbiage, Coach. It's what are we talking about? Pin and pull, pin and pull, pin and pull. I'm like, is that different than no, it's not. It's the same thing.
But it's the offense I invented. So
right. There you go.
I'm gonna call it what I want to call it. Again, the senior class, unbelievable. Parker Lewis and John Britton stepping up. You guys just ran over to the soccer field, grabbed them by the scruff of the neck, and said, "Hey, you're coming to play football." And those dudes were all about it. I think we talk about developing being the biggest sign of guys who are there with the right mentality. I thought both of those guys developed. They were not kickers before the season. They're soccer players, and I think Parker Lewis and John Britton really stepped up as the year went.
Yeah, so proud of those guys. That's just an interesting story. Is we were just like, what are we going to do next year? I mean, Cole had worked at kicking Henderson, and it was a good soccer player and a pretty good kicker, but it's really hard to do to be a starting slot back,
right,
and then also go be the kicker, and then be and his heart was in being a slot back, And so Coach DePhillips actually talked to these two guys, and they came and met with me, and I said, I'd love for you to. And Parker, is going off to play soccer, and he plays with Tormento, right? Yeah, the one in Statesboro. And I said, hey, we'll work with you. We've done this before. Just as long as you communicate with me and what we decide we do, you do. He said, not a problem. Heck, I would forget he's even doing that. Right. Honestly, because he just worked out the timing so well, and he did what he's supposed to do all the time. So proud of them, and it worked out where John handled the kickoff stuff, did a really good job with that, and Parker handled the extra point and field goal, place kicking, and they just did a great job. Didn't get to talk to either one of them for whatever reason right after the game. Did hear from Parker yesterday. He texted me and just said, he was so appreciative so glad he played. That it was such a, I can't imagine, never played, and all of a sudden he's kicking for BC and then kicking in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the state championship on TV.
Or the Superdome, as Sailor called it.
Sailor called it Superdome, but it's same difference.
That's somebody who lived in New Orleans for a little bit.
That's right. She's from New Orleans. She's assuming the Mercedes. That's what it is.
Superdome.
But anyway, super proud of those guys, and so glad they came out and were a part of it. And they were good kids to be around. I enjoyed just getting to know them as people.
Yeah, and a senior class that won a whole lot of football games. I believe they finished with 49 wins over their career, but maybe more impressively to me is over 4 years, lost 11 games. And when you look, you're like, there's a lot of teams that go undefeated, but it's like, you look at the schedule
Right.
you guys play and the way you specifically schedule the beginning of the season, a couple times against a Heisman Trophy winner, which is
Right.
all right. But the fact that those guys only lost 11 games shows a level of consistency, and it shows how hard it is going to be to replace them.
No doubt. And you're right. You have to look at that. That's what I keep talking to administration and stuff from BC, and I'm like, y'all, you got to help me push the narrative here.
Yeah.
You can't, because other people see it. They're in middle school and they go, oh, well, the record's good, but it's not as good. Who are we playing? What are we playing? What are we doing? It's a whole different level. When you go play these people, like you said, you look back a few years ago, we're playing the Heisman Trophy winner, from Columbus, and just really playing, at the next level stuff.
Yeah.
So super proud of these seniors and what they were able to accomplish, and consistency to me. And I talk to kids, that is a sign you can be successful in life. If you just remain consistent in what you're doing. It's not always going to be great, and it's not always going to be horrible. You just keep climbing, keep working toward common goals, and hopefully, that they'll learn this and take this into life. That's what they have to do, and remaining consistent and working the process, and that's what happens in the end. You come out on top.
I think being process oriented and choosing to do hard things is always a really good way to be successful. I think when you look back 5-6 years from now, that these senior guys are going to be very successful people wherever they end up.
I think so. I do definitely think it's important that, like say, it chose hard. They chose to come to Benedictine, which is not easy to attend. All the things you have to do to go to school there. Then they chose to be a part of Benedictine's football program, which we're choosing hard.
Yeah.
Not only, playing up, the people we schedule, how we do things. And sometimes you question it. I know. Heck, sometimes I question it, but it will make you a better person in the end.
I'm excited to watch what these guys do over the next few years, whether that's on the football field or just in life. We're taking a quick break. We're going to talk about next season, and then we'll wrap it up here on the Danny Britt Show live here from BowTie Barbecue.
BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com. BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook. As the world's largest lifestyle retailer of recreational boats and yachts, MarineMax is dedicated to connecting people with life-changing experiences on the water. More than just a boat retailer, MarineMax offers a complete range of services. 3518 Old Tybee Road, Thunderbolt, and online at marinemax.com. Cool Vibes Pizza and Wings is one of Savannah's most popular. Could be the New York style pizza, or the pasta, or sandwiches, or wings. Whatever you choose, Cool Vibes has their own unique style. Check them out at 4501 Montgomery Street, Savannah.
Welcome back into the Danny Britt Show live here from BowTie Barbecue. And Coach, I did want to take a few minutes here to talk about the 2026 season. I know a lot of football programs, as soon as somebody graduates, fans are gone, and you got to develop the new fans, and it's usually the incoming freshman parents.
Right.
But you got a lot of people out there who don't have kids on the team, never had kids on the team, but went to BC or just huge fans of the program. So I did want to ask you, preview quickly here the 2026 team, and I don't think it is controversial to say this is now the Amari Burse era.
No doubt. Amari's the next guy up, and then meant to mention that when we're talking about him as a defensive back, we're going to lose him as such.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the quarterback next year, and Amari's very talented. Coach Phillips will be able to do a lot of different things with him. He's all the things you want your quarterback to be. He's got a talented arm. He can run well. He's tough. He's smart. He's a team guy, team first guy all the time. Like, I've never seen him do anything that didn't seem that way. So super excited for him and the future for us, and I think we can do a lot of good things.
And I know for him, it makes it a whole lot easier when you have guys like Stanley Smart and Aaron Mallard coming back to kind of take away some of the pressure from him because, hey, 2-yard pass to either one of them could be a 60-yard touchdown. So that I think that helps out a lot. And then, like you said, really only losing one guy from that offensive line is going to be a group that has some consistency coming back. And I know some young guys as well, some big bodies that can develop there. I think this unit with Coach DePhillips at the helm could be really dangerous next year.
It could be. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not right now. I want to take a break, but I will be excited in sometime in January to go back to work on that and see what we develop into.
Yeah.
Because you still have a lot of talent, a lot of things you can do. The offensive line will be better. Of course, we're losing Carlton, but those guys having another full year, like they'll improve. We'll see who replaces Carlton. That'll depend, and maybe some shifting around. But with Aaron, with Cole, with Stan, with all these guys, there's a lot of talent. Coming back that can go make plays. Karan Hall,
right?
At his length, so a lot of talent around him. I think can be a fun year to watch.
And flipping over to the defensive side of the ball there, Coach, I know you don't get better by losing Cam Cody and LaDamian Guyton,
No.
right? But I was talking to Gavin Smith's dad at the Omni while we were in Atlanta, and I was like, it stinks to lose those two guys, but you got a pretty dang good group coming back on that defensive front. Hopefully Isaac Scott comes back at 100%. You have Gavin Smith coming back, and then Jameer Lee continuing to develop there as well. And like we said, we got some young guys on the C team who are some big bodies as well. It's not Cam Cody, and it's not LaDamian Guyton, but I think these guys, by the time it's all said and done, you could have 3 or 4 college football players there.
Yeah, definitely. You have 3 right there, and we got Jameer and Isaac coming back. Now he's going to have to battle back. We know he will. I still hate that for him. But he had the surgery. It was very successful. He's so he's rocking and rolling with that. But and then Gavin, it just had a tremendous year. And Gavin's more athletic than you think he is. I mean, he's a good football player, really good football player. And then so bringing those guys back, is exciting. We got some younger guys that need to put on some weight, put on some muscle. Ridge Reddick, I think he's like 6'9" now. I didn't even realize he had grown as much. I was standing beside him.
That sounds like opposite tackle to me.
Yeah, no, I don't know. But he's going to have to put on some weight, though. But he's not really 6'9", obviously. I'm kidding. But I was standing beside him. I'm like, my God, you've grown since the start of the season. Like I was looking up and wow. But, put some muscle on him because he can be a good football player for us, along with a number of other guys. So it's always exciting to see how that develops.
Yeah.
And how kids develop year in and year out.
I was going to say, people ask coaches a lot. They're like, man, you've won championships and you've won all these games and it's a lot of pressure. You deal with a lot of crap. Why do you keep doing it? I think like that thought process right there is what keeps you guys coming back.
It does. I wonder that sometimes too. Like I could go make more money doing something and not have, thousands of people question everything I do all the time. I love that aspect of it. I love the training, the starting the season and watching the guys and talking to them and see who's going to take everything you and your strength coaches, your other coaches are telling them develop and how that changes over the course of a year. 4 years, and then you are putting things into them that make them better, and there has to be part of what I think we all do in life that improves the world that God has given us, and I think that's what we want to do. We want to. I can promise you, these kids coming, that are leaving our program, having gone through this year, learn how to fight, learn how to get up every day and go attack the process, knowing that it may not work today, but it's going to work in the end, and it will get you where you need to be. So that's one big reason why we do what we do.
I do want to ask you about one more group here is that back 7 for you guys defensively. If you're talking about one group where it's like maybe the most is up in the air, it's with that group, and there's jobs to be won out there, and there's some really exciting guys I know that you have down that C team who kind of play offense and defense who I think could really kind of settle into a role for you guys. Some raw athletes, but some dudes who could turn into dudes.
Yeah, there's three reasons why we play everybody both offensively and defensively. One is to, as young guys, develop them on both so that we can fill the spots, whatever is needed.
Right.
And it helps the program. Two, it just develops them as football players more. If you know how to play the defensive side and you're an offensive player, it just makes you a smarter offensive player.
Right.
Three, and then ultimately to give us depth is like we just had. We were making the run, and then when you can move Aaron and Bubba over to play nickel and dime. And just really, and they know how to play it. They know how to play the total scheme. They understand. They've been taught. They've been drilled. So it makes you a better program. And so I'm excited to see what these guys, who it becomes, because we do have some areas up in the air. Rasheen Jackson obviously will come back and fill that role, but number of guys we'll have to see. Ben Klein-Peters, one of them, played a lot of special teams for us this year. He'll be having to step up and play a major role. Caden Thomas, who backed up LaDamian. I think he started one, maybe two games, for him with injury or whatever. And, he's going to have to step up. He's a sophomore. And, in the back, Landon Harris, who actually played a lot early. I mean, he got thrown into the fire with Colquitt County and Buford.
Right.
He ends up being the starter out there. So he's played some dogs for sure.
Yeah.
So, a lot of places we got to see, how this works out.
And I know, again, you're excited to get back to that, but just reflecting on the 2025 season one more time, Coach, I know for the players, the program, you guys as coaches, and the school as a whole, you've won state titles before, you've been on top of the mountain, but I don't know that there's maybe been a more memorable season from beginning to end than this one. Just like with the battles, the trials, the tribulations, but also when this team peaked at the right times, it was pretty special.
It definitely was. It's really special. And yeah, you want to come out on top, and it would be better if we were state champions right now. And but my heart is full, and I truly mean that. It's been great. This team was fun. This team, we went and played such a tough schedule and had to travel a lot to do it. Then won the region and were able to stay home the rest of the time, which was a blessing. And go play that type of team, the highest scoring team in the history of Georgia. Just
say something
unbelievably impressive. Yeah. To go play that team and then battle them to the last minute. It was a great year. So proud. I can reflect on it. It's been a tremendous year, and I will tell what it is really exhausting trying to put this together every year.
Yeah.
To tell parents, and the expectations will be, hey, do it again, and that, that's a lot of pressure. So but I'm very proud of what we did this year.
Well, Coach, for Kevin, Charlie, and myself, I know we're appreciative of being allowed on the ride with you guys, getting to call games. It's a whole lot more fun when we got a team like you guys in front of us out there. So very grateful for being along for the ride.
Well, I want to say a couple of things. One, you guys do a great job. I mean, it is unbelievable. The professionalism, how you guys handle it, what you sound like on air is just unbelievable. And people from, my friends, certainly my family follows everything, and they love doing that. But my friends, who haven't heard it before, like, my gosh, y'all have professional people doing it. I said, yes, we do. We're blessed with that. So I just really appreciate how you guys handle it, and it makes it so much fun to truly be that. And then with you, I don't even have to prepare. I just showed up today because I know you're going to guide everything, and you were knowledgeable on so many things. I just come up here and talk ball with you, and that's a lot of fun.
Hey, that's my favorite part of the week every week. Looking forward to Thursdays and Fridays, but I know we'll be getting ready for another season. So grateful for you being along for the ride, and here's to another great season.
Yes, sir. Go.
Do what?